This is the exact face that absolutely nobody is making whenever this news article came out about Disney's rendition of Daredevil, even though they brought back Charlie Cox. But this time, the news actually comes to us from some of the editors that worked on the show and how they were specifically instructed: don't watch the Netflix series, the highly successful and highly rated Netflix series. Don't do any of that for now. We're gonna do our own thing. We have to make it less gritty. While Disney Plus with Echo was basically selling it all on like we're going grittier. It's such backhanded stuff that they've been doing. We call it out as soon as we see it, and we've been calling it out for a long time. But now we have behind the scenes people doing it. Marvel reportedly told Daredevil Born Again editors to avoid watching the original series, and in a move that surprises no one, they weren't supposed to watch it at all. They weren't because they didn't want their minds tinkered with. They wanted to do their own little thing. The claim comes directly from editors Stephanie Philo and Cedric Nairn-Smith. Did he take his wife's last name and they made a little hyphenated thing? Anyway, that's not really what it's about, but I don't doubt it. Who spoke about the show's development process in a recent interview with Awards? Now, according to Philo, though, the original take on it was to lean away from the Netflix show. They actually told us not to watch it because they didn't want to affect how we were editing it. What, you mean good? Once we restructured everything and figured out we would do a different take on it, we dove back into the Netflix side of things. We were able to use temp music from that series and get back to that darker vibe. So here's, they wanted a first cut and then be like, oh yeah, this did it better. So like change everything you did. That's what I'm reading from this. Now, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's exactly what they're saying. It's like, no, we don't want you to be inspired by what was actually successful. What we want you to do is do your own thing, and then we'll show you the thing that actually was successful, and then y'all can mimic that later once you've done the initial process. Almost like a first draft, and then you hire an actual reviser and editor to come in and fix everything that you fucked up in the first one. Philo's comments confirm prior reports that Daredevil Born Again underwent major retooling midway through production. Yes, we do know that. And then we have heard also reports that there were only two episodes that weren't reshot, because when they first shot this series, they scrapped the entire thing. It was almost done. They scrapped the entire thing and reshot it from the start. At least those were the reports. And you can tell the two episodes that were kept from the original script, you can tell which ones those were. Because, first of all, in the series that was released, they stand starkly in contrast to everything else that has been leading up to it, and then everything else prior, and then it just goes back to it again. Originally conceived as a fresh start for the MCU presence, especially after his appearance in She-Hulk, where he did the Walk of Shame. He fucked a giant green monster who was just twerking with Megan Trainor or whatever, Megan the Stallion, whatever that bitch's name is. He decided, to just put that mushroom tip in, nice, warm, and gangrenous, and then walk with his loafers over the side of his shoulder. The lukewarm reception to the series, like Secret Invasion, may have prompted the pivot back to the tone that made Daredevil a fan favorite. Yeah, but the tone that Daredevil had on Netflix was dark, gritty, realistic. It had great writing. It had great execution. Disney doesn't know how to do that crap. And so what we got was a mishmash, a disheveled nightmare, almost like the Walk of Shame that he got in She-Hulk. You didn't make it any better. In fact, it flopped, even though there was a little bit of hype for it, because we got Charlie Cox back. Nope. 2 episodes in, everyone just freaking dropped off of that map. No one was watching anymore. But Cedric comes back and he adds a little bit more to this. Sometimes we would iterate these episodes and would be asked at times to intercut these scenes. We thought the intercuts wouldn't work because they weren't intended to be that way. However, once we started doing that, we found out there were common threads here. So you're just pilfering from better stuff. Yeah, our edits suck. This new scenes, these new shots, they suck. This story sucks. But maybe if we could intercut from something that was better and that everybody liked, if we can somehow seamlessly weave these kind of paths together, then we found out we were happy. It was a happy accident. A lot of it was trial and error trying to find these threads, but some of it was also planned because Disney planned it from the start. They knew they couldn't do anything from start to finish. They can't do anything from start to finish anymore. There is nothing original in modern day Disney. Nope. It is all simply rehashing things that were in the past successful. They used to have the audience behind them. They don't anymore. And now the audience doesn't even want to see a rehash of the old stuff. Even when you bring back the same actors, they don't want to see it anymore because they know Disney's just going to bend it over and fuck it up the ass pipe. This is Malty. If you have anything to say, leave it down in the comment section below. We love you and take care. And don't have this mouth anywhere near Bob Iger because he will take advantage of it, allegedly. Y'all have a great day. Bye.